Good morning, everyone. I am Charlene Isino from Bachelor of Secondary Education, major in Science. So today I will going to discuss the two recreational activities, which is diving and zip lining. Diving can be divided into two large categories, which is scuba diving and free diving. What is scuba diving? Scuba diving is a type of underwater diving whereby divers use breathing equipment that is completely independent of surface air supply. The name scuba, an acronym for Self-Contained Underwater Breathing Apparatus, was coined by Christian G. Lambertson in a patent submitted in 1952. The history of scuba diving is closely linked with the history of scuba equipment. By the turn of the 20th century, two basic architectures for underwater breathing apparatus had been pioneered: open-circuit surface-supplied equipment, where the diver's exhaled gas is vented directly into the water, and closed-circuit breathing apparatus, where the diver's carbon dioxide is filtered from the exhaled breathing gas, which is then recirculated and more gas added to replenish the oxygen content. The first commercially practical scuba rebreather was designed and built by the diving engineer Henry Floyd in 1878 while working for Steve Gorman in London. His self-contained breathing apparatus consisted of a rubber mask connected to a breathing bag with an estimated 50 to 60% oxygen supplied from a copper tank and carbon dioxide scrubbed by passing it through a bundle of rope yarn soaked in a solution of caustic potash. Types of scuba diving recreational. So deep diving. Deep diving provides adventurous divers with the opportunity to explore exciting new areas and expand their scuba diving abilities. So deep diving is underwater diving to a deep beyond the norm accepted. Ang deep diving na siya limit kung pila ka meters of feet ang i-dive sa usa ka diver aron malikayan ang accident kay naay tendency nga mahutdan sila og oxygen if mulapas sila sa gialaw nga limit. And then second is wreck diving. Exploring the remains of a ship or aircraft wreck is strangely appealing and fascinating for many people. As such, wreck diving is highly popular type of scuba diving. Numerous wrecks exist in nearly every large body of water. Sa wreck diving mao ni ang ginabuhat sa mga divers to explore underwater, especially katong naay mga barko nga dugay na nga nasa ilalom sa dagat. Night diving is underwater diving done during the hours of darkness. It frequently refers specifically to recreational diving which takes place in darkness. The diver can experience a different underwater environment at night because many marine animals are nocturnal. So night diving it done during the hours of darkness. Ang mga divers ani nga time is ganahan sila og gabi tungod kay pag gabi na sila mag-dive, all marine life is dili na sila kanang magtago. Ice diving. For those unbothered by the cold, ice diving can be an incredibly stunning and unique experience. Ice diving involves diving beneath a frozen surface in a lake or ocean. Often, divers will have to break the ice to get beneath the surface. As such, there is typically only one enter and exit point. So, ice diving is a type of penetration diving where ang divers magbuhat sila og entry or exit point kung asa sila moagi or motunga. Ang ice diving, before ka mag-dive ani, kinahanglan pa ni siya og mga procedure og mga equipment aron safe gyud ang mga divers. And then kung mag-dive ka sa ice diving, you need to know kung asa ang exit point. Open water diving. Unlike many of the other types of dives on this list, all certified scuba divers can go open water diving. As such, it is one of the most popular forms of scuba diving, especially among beginners divers. So, open diving is an entry diver certification For recreational scuba diving, ang open diving para ni siya sa mga beginners or at first mosakay sila og boat tunga sa dagat ay din sila mo ambak or mo dive. Wall dive. Wall diving refers to diving along a vertical reef or cliff face. So wall dive it involves during alongside the edges of coral reefs or reef walls and other vertical underwater terrains. Ang mga divers is diha sila mag-dive sa lugar nga naay mga coral reefs. Drift diving. Drift diving refers to a type of dive where the water's tide or current transports the diver to a different location than where they began their dive. Essentially, drift diving is simply the act of going with the flow. So, drift diving is a type of scuba diving where the diver is transported by the water movement caused by the tide and ocean current or in a river. So, sa drift diving, ang mga divers nagdepende sa water tide and then they go act or going with the flow kung asa ang tide sa kanang water. And then the free diving. Free diving is as ancient an activity as humanity itself. In fact, it's what eventually established the art of scuba diving more than any other sport. Free diving is based on old subconscious reflexes in human beings. So, 6 rules of scuba diving. Breathe continuously while on scuba. Never hold your breath. Equalize early and often while descending. Never go deeper than you can comfortably equalize. Ascend slowly from every dive and make safety stops. Continuously monitor depth, time, and pressure. Do not overweight yourself and dive like a fish. Terminology of scuba diving. Advanced open water, follow-up of certification after open water diver allows for deeper. Air, a gas mixture containing 21% oxygen and 78% nitrogen and 1% other gases. Mainly argon compressed air is held in a tank for scuba diving. As apnea, breath holding, apnea is diving is a type of free diving, but in scuba diving, you should never hold your breath. Back roll, entering the water from the side of the boat back first. BC or BCD, buoyancy compensator. This is the harness divers wear that hold air tank and connects to the regulator. Bends bent, the pain a diver feels when suffering from decompression sickness. See definition below. The bends often occur from ascending too quickly. Boat dive. Boat dive is scuba diving that requires a boat ride to the dive site. Cave, a hollow place in the ground, typically of natural formation. Cave diving, entering a water-filled cave system either on scuba or free diving. Cave diving can extend thousands of feet in a cave system for people who are properly trained. Certified diver, someone who has completed scuba diving lessons through a training organization and is able to dive without an instructor. Deep gauge, a piece of scuba equipment that monitors how deep you are during your dive. Dive computer, dive instructor, dive light, drift dive, free diving, open water, snorkel, squeeze, and then diving and swimming. So history of diving and swimming with the addition of gymnastic and acrobatic stand in its more elaborate acrobatic form. Diving originated in Europe early in the 19th century as a diversion of gymnasts and as a competitive sport in the late 19th century. It became a part of the swimming program of the Olympic Games in 1904 and developed rapidly through the first half of the 20th century. Synchronized diving, a competition in which two divers simultaneously perform a dive, emerged and became part of the Olympic program in 2000. 6 kinds of diving. Forward The diver starts facing toward the pool and rotates forward away from the board platform. So as you can see the picture, so yan na siya ang forma kung kung imong ikuan ang forward dive. And then second is backward. The diver starts facing away from a pool and rotates backward away from the board platform. So yan na siya ang forma kung mag-execute ka sa back dives. Reverse. The diver starts facing toward the pool and rotates backward toward the board platform. So yan na siya ang forma. As you can see sa picture, yan na ang forma kung mag-reverse dive ka. And then inward, the diver starts facing away from the pool and rotates forward toward the board platform. So yan na ang forma sa inward dives. Twisting. Any dive that includes at least one twist regardless of starting position or direction. So twisting, brush lag on. Mana ang forma kung ma-execute ka sa twisting dives. And then 6 is arm stand. The diver begins a dive from a motionless handstand on the edge of the platform. Platform only. So yan na sila mag-on na ilang kamot. Yan na ang forma sa arm stand dives. Body positions in diving. Straight. A position in which body is straight from head to toe with the feet together and the toes pointed. Pike. The diver bends their body forward at the waist. The legs are straight and the toes are pointed. Tack. A position in which the diver bends their knees, bringing or tacking the knees and thighs closer to the chest and heels toward the buttocks. Free body positions are the motion twists in air. Any possible combination of two or more positions can be used over here. So basic skills of diving and swimming. Breathing properly. Often overlooked among swimming skills is the ability to time your breath with your strokes. When learning to breathe while swimming, beginners tend to lift their heads above the water when they run out of air and grasp for more. Schooling. Schooling while swimming gives you feel for moving through the water and keeps you from sinking in the water. Schooling is a back and forth motion with your hand, like you're drawing or figure 8. Your elbows stay relaxed and you should have minimal shoulder movement. Keep your palms tightly oriented in the direction that you would like to travel as you apply pressure to the water. Coordinating your actions. Beginning swimmers often find themselves messily chopping through the water with their limbs. In swimming, dapat imong lawas ay kay nagka-coordinate sa movement sa imong muscles and your lower back aron dili lisod sa paglangoy. Dapat imong actions tanan sa once mag-swimming ka is nag-coordinate. Learning strokes. Once you feel confident with basic swimming skills, mastering a specific stroke is your next challenge. So depende nimo diyon kung unsa nga imong gamit, unsa imong kanang gamiton sa dihang magkaanak ka kanang maglangoy ka. Diving. Diving into the pool is one of the necessary swimming when you begin. Diving may only involve putting your hands together above your head and gently curling your body forward toward the water until you fall in head first. Mechanics of diving. Object of the sport. The object of the sport of diving is to score more points. It's a series of dives win the competition. After a series of dives, the person or pair of divers, if a pair's competition with the most points, are winners. Players and equipment. Apart from a diving board and swimming costumes, no social equipment is needed for diving apart from a diving board or a series of diving boards if competing. Scoring. In most international competitions, our judging panel consists of 5 or more judges. They each judge every dive and award it a score between 1 and 10. So 0 is completely failed, 1/2 or 2 is unsatisfactory, 2 1/2 or 4 1/2 deficient, 5 or 6 1/2 satisfactory, and 7 to 8 is good, then 8 1/2 and 9 1/2 very good, and 10 excellent. When judging each dive, they look at 5 different elements. Starting position. There are various starting positions for a dive, and each diver will be judged on the execution of their starting position. The approach. The diver should move to the end of the board in a smooth motion, showing good form. Takeoff. Takeoffs should all show good balance and control and should initiate an acceptable distance from the platform or springboard. And then flight, the diver should have the proper body from through the flight of the dive, as well as the proper amount of rotation and revolution, depending upon the elements of the dive. Terminology of diving. Winning the competition. At the end of the competition, the competitor or pair of competitors, if a pair competition that have the highest scores, are the winner of the competition. Entry, the angle of entry should be straight with the minimal amount of splash. Approach, the forward step taken by a diver toward the end of the board, arm stand dive, backward dive, degree of difficulty, execute, entry, execution. Forward dive, inward dive, and then judge, and then pike, straight, synchronized diving, take off, tower, tack, twisting dive, somersault, springboard, and then zip lining. So what is zip lining? Zip lining is an action-filled recreational activity that involves riding a steel cable on protective seat or a belt between 2 points, and generally in a valley that is exhibit spectacular sceneries. History of zip lining. The mysterious origin of zip lines. The true origin of the zip line is shrouded in mystery. No one really knows when and where the first one was invented. That said, most people agree they originated in the mountains centuries ago. Why the mountains? This is where their practical nature comes in. Zip lines were originally used to quick transport items and people through rugged mountainous terrain, but that was not their only place. In remote areas of ancient China, zip lines were once used to cross rivers so people did not have to swim or rely on treacherous ferry rides. 17th century England saw new zipline purposes. Steeplejacks used them as a means to descend quickly from a church-inspired or chimney, and later on, when Westerners first came to the Australian outback, pioneers relied on them to transport food, tools, and cigarettes across rivers and gullies. Ziplines were also reportedly used there to deliver food, mail, and ammunition to the front lines of military conflicts. So, mao ni siya ang kuan sa history sa zipline. Mechanics of zipline. First is at their most basic, ziplines are simply cables connected between 2 points that slope downward. Passengers are fitted with a body harness that clips into the cable via a pulley. These pulleys are designed to reduce friction, allowing the rider to accelerate down the line or green, introducing speeds. Your body mass, the heavier you are, the faster you'll travel. Slope of the line, the steeper the line, the higher the velocity. Length of line, the longer the line, the more time you have to achieve maximum speed to a point. There are two main categories of zipline brakes. First is active, and then two is passive. So, active braking, the most common types of active zipline brakes are leather gloves and brake pads. Participants must intentionally press a glove or brake pad against a zipline cable in order to slow down. So, active braking, ang imong gamiton is glove o gamiton po nimo to push down on a zipline cable to create friction, slowing the rider down. Ang active braking, ang rider mismo ang mo manage to go down, and then ang rider pod ang mag-brake depende niya unsa kahinay o kakusog ang iyang gusto. And in the passive braking, there are many different types of passive braking. The most commonly used passive brakes are magnetic brakes, gravity brakes, and spring brakes. Passive brakes take the responsibility for braking away from the rider. So passive braking, in passive braking, dili na ang rider ang mo control or mo brake. While riding a zipline, ang magnetic brakes na ang responsibility sa pag-brake sa zipline. Equipments of zipline. Pulley, different kinds of cable pulleys are utilized to provide the smooth flow of the zipline, where the brakes or gradual speed reductions are activated towards the end. Carabiner. The zipline is connected through a steel carabiners for the clipping of the trolley. It is commonly used in activities with the rope work to ensure safety. Seat and stand chest harness. The seat harness will support your body during your zip lining experience. It consists of straps and carabiners that is clipped to the cable to ensure your safety. You will also wear a chest harness to enhance stability. Helmet. Helmet is to protect your head from falling objects and aerial obstacles like leaves, birds, or branches. Zip lining centers will provide you with a range of sizes, and they are usually pretty lightweight. Gloves. Gloves are an important piece of equipment that will protect your hands, especially during braking. If you are planning to travel with your equipment, there might be additional cost. And 5 things to do before zipline. First, is ziplining safe? By and large, ziplines have a reputation for being both fun and safe. However, there are some risks associated with riding a zipline that everyone should be aware of. Number 2, how scary is ziplining? As someone who has tried 20 or so ziplines around the world, I'll be honest, it's scary, not terrifying, but ziplines will definitely make your heart pound. The scariest part of riding a zipline is jumping off the platform. You have to fight your natural instinct and put trust in your guides and endure to finally make that jump, but it's worth it. What's the weight limit for ziplining? It's common for zipline operators to boast that their equipment is capable of holding a truck. However, their ziplines usually still come with weight restrictions in order to protect guests. What should you wear for ziplining? Your clothes will have a direct impact on how comfortable you are throughout the zipline tour. Wear breathable layers that you can easily move around in. Long shorts, trousers, leggings, or capri pants will give you some padding against the harness and make the ride more comfortable. How do you stop on zipline? There are 2 main types of braking system on zipline, passive and active. As the name implies, passive braking ziplines use speed reduction mechanism to slow you down automatically. No need for you to do anything. Thank you.